Welcome to our Beyond the Podium Election 2024 coverage. I'm WTOV 9 anchor Dylan Cleland. Today we are focusing on the U.S. Senate race in Ohio. Incumbent Democrat Sherrod Brown is facing Republican Bernie Moreno. Brown has been in the seat since 2007. Moreno is in politics for just a second time. Here's more from my one-on-one with Republican Bernie Moreno.
Bernie, thanks for taking a few minutes. Last stretch, 12 days till Election Day. What's the message to voters right now?
The message is what I heard a 6-year-old tell me when I visited a charter school in Columbus. The 6-year-old recognized me and said, "You're running for the United States Senate against Sherrod Brown." I said, "Yes, I am." And the 6-year-old looked me in the eye and said, "Sherrod Brown's too liberal for Ohio." So that's the closing message. Look, he's been there too long. Never worked in the private sector, 50 years, a record of failure. We've seen 200,000 manufacturing jobs leave Ohio. I'm going to revitalize this area because I know what it takes to incentivize businesses to come here and grow, hire people, and pay them well.
Let's talk about the economy. Obviously, inflation's hitting every Ohioan, gas, milk, whatever it might be. What is your plan if you are to get in there to try and bring that down and lessen the burden on people's wallets?
We've got to make America an energy superpower. We've got to make America energy dominant. That's going to help this part of the state a lot. And that is the underlying cost for everything. So if we can unleash American energy, that will drive prices of everything down. We then have a tax environment and a regulatory environment that encourages growth, unleashed American productivity, make sure we have trade deals that benefit America so we can make things here again. All of that will reduce prices. And by the way, we did it. When President Trump was in the White House, we had very low inflation, low prices, low interest rates. We'll get that back again.
And you mentioned energy, which was one of the topics I wanted to hit on. Oil and gas, obviously, potential here. What do you see for Eastern Ohio in specific and what it can contribute to America's energy independence?
Well, we're going to unleash natural gas. We sit on a reserve that's unlike anything else on earth. My opponent supports Kamala Harris. They want to ban fracking. They want to crush American energy. They'll do that through regulation, through so-called environmental guidelines, which are terrible for America. Look, we will unleash the natural gases underneath our feet. We have enough natural gas for the next 1,000 years. We will never have my kids or grandkids or your kids and grandkids ever grow up in a country that relies on anybody for energy.
I do want to ask you about the unions because of obviously the Ohio Valley, a lot of history with that. This year seems a little bit different though. Unions maybe not committing or going as blue as they have in the past. What would you do for the union worker if they elect you?
Well, we're going to make sure they keep their job and their company grows. If you look at Sherrod Brown, he's seen 200,000 manufacturing jobs leave under his watch. I mean, if he shows up at a company, it's probably because they just closed or had a massive curtailment in employment. Look, I respect people who work for unions. Whatever allows people to live a better life where they get paid more money so they can raise a family and live a basic American life to whatever extent they want, I'm in favor of all that. We should be able to afford a vacation, afford a car, afford a home, afford to take a few days off. Those are the basic elements that's so hard and so out of reach for so many Americans today. So to the union workers out there, support me. I will always have your back. My opponent will have the backs of your leadership, but as you know, leadership doesn't always speak for the worker. I will.
Okay, I have just a couple more. I want to talk about abortion, obviously.
Of course, the party wants to do that.
We obviously saw how Ohioans voted last November. Where do you see the future of abortion rights in the state go?
Well, it's already in our Constitution. It's enshrined in our Constitution. There is no votes either way in the federal government to do anything about abortion. But what I think we should do is bring the country together on this very divisive issue. Let's make adoption less expensive, having children less expensive, raising kids less expensive, make sure women have good access to health care, equal access to contraception, which they don't have today. Men can get contraception a lot easier than women can. Let's equalize that. Let's fund pregnancy centers. That's what I believe. That's what I'm going to work on. My opponent is a far left extremist on this issue. He's in favor of partial birth abortions, elective late-term abortions. He voted against the Infant Born Alive Protection Act, which says in a botched late-term abortion, that child is not to be given life-saving care the way any other baby would be given. That's crazy. That doesn't represent Ohio values. I'm the moderate on this issue. He's the extremist on this issue.
Would you support an abortion ban?
I've never supported an abortion ban. There's no votes for that. That's not what any Republican is talking about. What I would say is aspirationally, if we can get to a point where we don't have elective late-term abortions, I think that's good for America. But we're going to do the things that I just mentioned to reduce the number of abortions in this country by having empathy for the women that go through this, make certain that we give them alternatives, like I said, adoption, make certain that the pregnancy didn't happen in the first place. Again, my opponent's a far left extremist. Who could imagine voting against a bill that says a 35-week-old baby that's born did not die in the abortion is not to be given life-saving care? That's pretty cruel. It's pretty inhumane, and it only happens in Russia, China, and North Korea, and right here in Sherrod Brown's vision of America.
Last question for you today, Bernie. I want to ask about, we have a community college in Steubenville, Eastern Gateway. It's going away. It's been it's been here for a long time and helped a lot of people get off the ground. What do you see the role of community colleges or maybe trade programs here in Ohio? And what do you tell someone here that maybe was using that program and now it's going to go away?
Well, it shouldn't have gone away. Probably mismanagement, like is typical in these colleges and universities. I've seen these bloated administrators pay themselves a fortune, add more and more administrators, less and less teachers, raise tuition unnecessarily. Look, most of the people who worked in my companies were either high school graduates or community college graduates or tech school graduates. So I know the value of a technical education. My opponent wants to pay off the student debt of people who went to 4-year colleges to learn about 6 or 7 or 9 or 50 types of genders. I think that's ridiculous. I think we should be funding technical education, encouraging people to do that. Those are the types of things that I'm going to work on, and making certain that we drive those resources to the state level and the community level where it's much more effective and much more efficient.
All right, Bernie, thank you so much.
Cool. Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
You.